Did you know that Italy has a Christmas witch, La Befana? She's an old lady who rides on a broomstick and descends through your chimney and delivers gifts to the children sleeping on Twelfth Night, the eve of Epiphany. But did you know that La Befana has an even older origin that predates ancient Rome and Christianity? Keep watching to learn more about Italy's Christmas witch tradition and its ancient origins.
Hi, I'm Alexandra, and I'm excited to empower you to embody your electric radiance. Join me as we explore spiritual and metaphysical topics that will spark your third eye open and connect you to the universe.
So I'm sure you're probably thinking that La Befana sounds a lot like Saint Nick or Santa Claus, but she predates that tradition. So the story of La Befana goes like this. 3 wise men are following a star and happen upon a village where they meet La Befana. They tell her the story of what they're doing. They're following a star to find this baby, and they ask if she would like to go with them. She says she has so much housework to do, she just doesn't have time to go. Isn't that the story of my life? But shortly after they leave, she realizes she really should go. She really would like to go. So she finishes cleaning her house and she gets on her broomstick and flies off to follow them. But she doesn't know where they've gone. She doesn't know which direction they're going. She decides to try to find the baby they're looking for by going down every chimney of every house and seeing what little children live there. And while she's there, she leaves them gifts. There's another story where she is actually a mother who lost her child. And when she meets the Magi, again, she declines. She decides later she should go anyway. She actually rides a donkey in some of these stories. She goes about looking for each of the children until she eventually finds the baby Jesus. The presence of baby Jesus heals her, and he gives her the gift of becoming the mother of all the children of the world. So she continues to bring gifts every year to all the children. Children in Italy put out their stockings on the 12th night of Christmas. And the 12th night of Christmas is January 5th, and January 6th is Epiphany. So this is the eve of Epiphany, and Epiphany is the day that is traditionally celebrated as the day the 3 wise men found Jesus bearing gifts. So in many cultures that celebrate Christianity, January 6th is known as Three Kings Day or Epiphany, and gifts are given on that day. Also, gifts are given on Christmas Day itself, but gifts are given again, smaller gifts generally, on January 6th. And so when she arrives in the house, she often expects a treat to be left for her. So those of you who celebrate the tradition of Santa Claus know all about leaving cookies and milk out for Santa Claus, maybe some carrots for the reindeer. In this tradition, children of Italy leave a glass of wine and some local treats. As far as traditional things that are left in the stockings, La Befana is associated with dates and figs and honey. If you've been naughty instead of nice, she'll leave you a lump of coal or maybe a stick. Now, remember all those, because I'm going to come back to those in just one moment. And just before she leaves, she sweeps the floor because supposedly she's come down and has brought some soot with her. It basically sweeps the floor for a clean slate for the new year. So some of the traditions that are interesting that go along with La Befana that seem to have an earlier origin, more of a pagan origin, are this resemblance to being a witch. So she rides on a broomstick. Of course, we traditionally think of witches riding on broomsticks. We've seen plenty of artwork from especially the Middle Ages. I'll come back to that broomstick. She comes down the chimney. Now, some people say the reason she goes down chimneys is because in the Neolithic period, the entrance to houses was actually from the top, especially in Anatolia, the Near East. So it's interesting to note that La Befana is very similar to some other hag witch crones in other cultures, like babushka in Russia, who is an old grandma and goes around riding a donkey and delivering gifts for Christmas. There's also Baba Yaga, who is very similar to babushka, right? So Baba Yaga is Slavic, Eastern European. So there's also Santa Lucia from Scandinavia, and she also rides a donkey. And is celebrated, I believe, on December 13th. And there's also some darker figures like Hecate from ancient Greece, the crone figure of death, and Kyluk, the Celtic goddess, who is a nocturnal winter goddess. But most often, La Befana is believed to originate from the Sabine goddess, Strenia. Strenia has an interesting history. The Sabine culture, which you might know from the rape of the Sabine women, predates Roman culture. And they were a tribe just east of the Tiber River. The Sabine culture was encompassed by Rome eventually. They continue to celebrate the goddess Strenia throughout ancient Rome, but we don't know much of the Sabine language or its origins. Some people believe that the Sabines originated from ancient Greece, from Sparta. So there's a lot of different theories out there. But what we do know about Strenia is that she corresponds with a lot of La Befana's traditions. So for instance, dates, figs, and honey correspond with Strenia. She is a New Year goddess. So originally ancient Romans did celebrate the New Year in March, which is the beginning of spring, which is more like a new year, right, than when we celebrate it in the dark of the winter. Since those dates have changed, the tradition changed. So during the New Year festival in ancient Rome, there would be a procession through the Via Sacra, and at the top of the hill, there would be wise women or priestesses who represented Strenia. And one would bring gifts to give to the priestesses in exchange for good fortune and fortune telling. And they would bring in psychic messages to give back to the people on that day. So there was also a lot of gift-giving exchanges in Rome during the New Year. So we can see how that New Year gift exchange has bled into Christmas traditions, which happen around that same time of the year. So there are a lot of similarities between Strenia and La Befana. So not only are dates, figs, and honey associated with Strenia, but she is also recognized as the protector of children. She also represents fertility. And the gifts that were given and exchanged between people and given to the shrine at Via Sacra to the priestesses in exchange for good omens, these gifts were called strenae. And that word is actually still used today in Italy. Verbena, laurel, and coal is also associated with Strenia and these New Year's traditions in ancient Rome and before ancient Rome. Laurel branches would be brought to the shrine on the procession. And so we have this stick, this representative broom, clinging for the new year, and a symbol of good luck. So we can see how branches becoming wands, becoming brooms through the ages, representative from priestesses to witches. So now we think of coal and sticks as like a bad thing to receive in the stocking for the naughty children. But in fact, these would have been good things to receive because these were representative of fertility in the ancient world. So I love how these ancient gift-giving traditions have made their way through the annals of time into different cultures and different traditions that we still celebrate today. So what is your tradition? How do you celebrate Christmas or Yule or the solstice or the 12 days of Christmas or Epiphany or all of the above? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear all about it. We love to celebrate all of it at our house. Love these stockings. These are from my childhood. So my mom made those stockings. So in addition to celebrating all the things, I'm also celebrating the Christmas witching, which is my signature holiday psychic development program that I hosted last year, and I'm hosting again this year. Last year, I hosted it during the 12 days of Christmas, which are traditionally known for celebrating and practicing divination. Many cultures throughout the ages have felt that this time of the year, beginning with the winter solstice, which is the shortest day, the longest night in the northern hemisphere, during these long winter nights, it was thought that the veil was the thinnest, thinner than during Halloween or Samhain. Divination was traditionally practiced during these long winter nights, and people would connect to their ancestors and really bring in all of that psychic energy. So we had a great group last year, but this year I'm expanding it. It starts on December 5th, but enrollment up until December 12th. And then we will have the 7 live Zoom meetings where you get to meet with me live. There will be replays in a private Facebook group. You'll have lifetime access. And I will put a link in the description so you can sign up if you're interested. And I hope to see you there. It's a fun psychic party. We're also doing a gift exchange. So we'll be exchanging our own Strenai. And it's like a Secret Santa exchange, but I'm calling it Witch. WHICH, WITCH. So Witch. I'd love to have you in the group and see you there. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comments and I will get back to you. And I am wishing you a wonderful holiday season, and maybe La Befana will visit you.